He bit a bat's head off, peed on the Alamo, was called a Satanist, and was accused of creating music that led teens to commit suicide. But the wildest part of Ozzy's story, he forgot he could die. They called him the Prince of Darkness, the Madman, a demonic force corrupting a generation. For decades, the name Ozzy Osbourne wasn't just about music, it was about pure, unadulterated chaos. But behind the chaos was a man fighting much worse demons. But was all this just a gimmick? A stage persona designed to sell records? Or was it the unfiltered truth of a man teetering on the edge? Ozzy Osbourne was born in Warwickshire and grew up in Birmingham. His mother was a factory worker and his father was a tool maker. He lived in a small house with his parents, brothers and sisters. He was dyslexic and suffered sexual abuse at 11. At age 14, he became a fan of the Beatles and, after listening to the song She Loves You, decided to become a rock star. At age 15, he left school and did menial jobs to earn a living. At 17, he was caught shoplifting and spent 6 weeks in prison. Life seemed to be going nowhere for young Ozzy, and his dreams of becoming a rock star felt more unrealistic with every passing day. But that was all about to change. It was Butler who formed the first band, Rare Breed, and asked Ozzy to be the lead singer. The twosome then joined another band where they met guitarist Lommie and drummer Ward. The four of them decided to rename the band Earth. But after Ozzy observed that their fans enjoyed being frightened, they renamed the band Black Sabbath, cashing in on the name of a popular movie. Black Sabbath was born, and the rest is history.
Tony and Bill had a band called Mythology up north in a place called Carlisle, which is on the Scottish border. And their bass player and their singer had just left. I was with Geezer, and they went into the music shop, saw the advert of and I'd called myself Ozzy Zig. But to get someone like, I thought the word zig was like would capture somebody's eye, you know. And then Tony and Bill came round in this van.
Butler and Osbourne started writing more sinister lyrics. Soon the Christian wing started accusing Black Sabbath of promoting Satanism. Black Sabbath responded by replacing the gloomy blues with bone-chilling riffs and lyrics about dark figures. They didn't just follow music, they created a whole new brand of metal rock. For the next 4 years, Black Sabbath ruled the rock and roll scene. Their albums Paranoid, Master of Reality, Black Sabbath Volume 4, and Sabotage all crossed the top 10 in both the United States and the UK. However, as their popularity skyrocketed, the friendship between the band members started to suffer, and on 27th April 1979, the unthinkable happened. Lommie decided Ozzy had to go. Butler and Ward sided with Lommie. Ozzy, whose voice had defined a generation, was fired from the band he had created. Sometimes, hitting rock bottom is the only way to rise again.
This reunion tour is like going home again and saying, "Hi Mum, hi Dad, you know, hey brother Jimmy," and all this. And to talk the old story, I mean, because it's been 20 years since we were actively playing together as a band, and at the end of the day, it was a very miserable separation for me. I mean, they fired me, and all this kind. I'm not slagging them, but one of us had to go, and unfortunately enough for me, looking back, it was me.
After getting fired from Black Sabbath, Ozzy spent 3 months drinking booze and abusing coke. The band gave him a cheque for £96,000, which was a lot of money at that time. Ozzy had thrown in the towel, he had given up and was ready to go back home. However, fate had other plans. His stardom was far from over. In fact, it was only starting. Sharon's father, Don Arden, signed Ozzy to his record label while Sharon helped Ozzy audition a string of musicians, searching for the perfect fit. Ozzy chose Randy Rhoads, and together they created their first album, Blizzard of Oz. It was a raw, unfiltered masterpiece that cemented Ozzy's status as a solo superstar.
When I first met Ozzy, there was no band yet. So I was staying at his house, and he and I were just sort of knocking ideas around. And then we met Bob. And the three of us, while we were looking for a drummer auditioning, we were just sort of messing around with riffs and ideas.
But just as Ozzy was finding his feet again, tragedy struck. An accident happened during the Diary of a Madman tour. Randy Rhoads died on the spot. The brutal, heartbreaking loss shattered Ozzy. He spent the next few years in a blur of grief. Randy wasn't just a bandmate, he was his lifeline. He had played a key role in Ozzy's comeback. Now with Randy gone, Ozzy's future once again looked uncertain. It was music that pulled him out of the pit of despair. Hits like Bark at the Moon and Ultimate Sin proved to him that all was not lost. Ozzy then met a young guitarist, Zakk Wylde. Randy's demise had left a hole in the group and Wylde was the perfect fit.
That Zakk Wylde embraced Randy, because what happened was, after Randy passed, there were guitar players that came into the fold that were considered themselves contemporaries of Randy, whereas Zakk was very young when Randy, came into, with Ozzy, so he was influenced by Randy, and he's not shy about it. He'll be the first one to say, "I love Randy Rhoads," and so he's able to go out there and pay tribute to Randy, playing his versions of what Randy would do, and then at the same time he would shine as being Zakk Wylde. He would bring in his own contribution, and that is the perfect blend.
Zakk's young blood brought new energy to the band. His ferocious guitar gave birth to albums like No More Tears and Mama, I Am Coming Home. Everything seems to be going well once again. However, on the 8th of December 2003...
Ozzy!
Osbourne fell off his bike, breaking his collarbone and 8 ribs. The accident left him confined to bed. However, he slowly recovered from his injuries and went on to headline the 2004 Ozfest, proving that he was a legend who could bounce back from anything.
Weather in Afghanistan, 2,000 degrees and cloudy. What the fuck am I doing? I'm stuck on the Weather Channel. What the fuck is that?
For decades, Ozzy portrayed himself as the Prince of Darkness, the wildest star of heavy metal. Then in the 2000s, a completely different Ozzy appeared on TV. The bat-biting Wildman was now fumbling with remotes and scolding kids on MTV. The Osbourne show exposed a softer side of Ozzy. The show took off and Ozzy became a household name. The viewers couldn't believe that the madman of heavy metal was also a loving father and a husband.
I didn't break my foot, I broke my shin bone. It's so stupid. I got out of the shower and I slipped in the bathroom and I broke my foot. It's really, really awfully painful. Doctor said, rest your legs. I mean, the thing is that I'm a human being and I can only do what God gives me.
After the show ended, Ozzy made a commercial for the World of Warcraft game.
I'm Ozzy Osbourne and I'm the Prince of Darkness.
The Lich King is the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy.
Well, maybe you're the one who's been riding a crazy train, but I've been the Prince of Darkness since 1979.
And did a travel show called Ozzy and Jack's World Detour. But behind his Prince of Darkness and TV star persona was a man battling demons. Even his bandmates were horrified by his drug abuse, and it was one of the reasons he was removed from Black Sabbath. The drunken haze in which he spent his days caused some of his most embarrassing moments, like urinating on the Alamo. One night in a drunken fit of rage, he almost strangled his wife, Sharon, to death.
He needed to die, my goodness.
He'd been on a bender for about 5 days. And, mixing combinations of, alcohol and drugs. And I knew, he was on the verge of something. But I didn't think that he was going to try and strangle me. And however, he did try and strangle me and got me down on the ground, and he was on top of me. And I really thought at one point that I was going to, slip and go.
Ozzy had a fortitude bigger than King Kong and Godzilla combined, Zakk Wylde said. Ozzy Osbourne was notorious for cheating death. He had survived band breakups, betrayals, lifelong drug abuse, and bike accidents. Every time life knocked him down, he just came back stronger. At a certain point, he started to believe that he was immortal, but just at that moment, life sent him a new enemy, his body. For years he had experienced tremors, but he always dismissed them as a consequence of his crazy lifestyle. But in 2003, a diagnosis confirmed his worst fears, Parkinson's.
I found out that I have a mild form of Ozzy.
It's Parkin 2, which is a form of Parkinson's.
He finally revealed his condition to the world, stating, "I'm not dying from Parkinson's. I've been working with it most of my life." He was not done fighting Parkinson's yet when a nasty fall in 2019 exacerbated a spinal injury and forced him to cancel the tour. But despite his physical limitations, he was still the Prince of Darkness, and his spirit was unbroken.
So now, as far as where you at with the Parkinson's, you feel like you're in a...
You know something? I never think about it. I don't go, oh, I got Parkinson's.
It's more the spine injury that's been hindering you versus the Parkinson's.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Even though he couldn't walk anymore, he gave one final performance with Black Sabbath in his hometown of Birmingham. Seated on a custom-made throne, the Prince of Darkness went out doing what he loved. From biting bats to fighting Parkinson's, Ozzy lived like no one else did and refused to go quietly. Whatever the world says about him, one thing is for sure, there won't be another one like him. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this, please hit the subscribe button. Please let us know in the comments who you want us to cover next.